What I'm going to talk to you all about today is, again, August 11th. I got some sage burning here, so put that down here. August 11th, 2019. It's an intense time period. We are coming finally to the close of our second big shift of the year. The Mercury retrograde, the energy shift, the waning moon, the cycle that you all that know me have heard me talk about so many times over and over and over again. It's an intense cycle. And in these cycles, so this one started, it always starts when we go into the shifting period. It's a 15-day period, 15-day period of intensity on the planet, which all starts off with the pre-shadow of the Mercury retrograde. We go into the direct retrograde, and we go into the post-shadow, which we're in now. We're coming out of it on the 16th. Thank goodness. This has had a heavy effect on those who are Cancer, because it started out in Cancer. Mercury rules over Virgo and Gemini. Gemini and Virgo are always affected by the retrograde. So if you are a sun sign or moon sign, Virgo or Gemini, you should definitely be more aware of the Mercury retrograde cycles. But when we go into the direct retrograde cycle, we have a full moon, we go into that intense energy shift. This whole cycle, 8-week period, we go through 3 years. So literally half the year we're in it, half the year we're not in it. And we go through this very intense period that brings on a lot of emotional stuff. And a lot of since 2012, but especially since 2017, when if you go back to things I said about the awakening of Mother Earth and such, it's bringing up deep-rooted stuff. Because in order for us to go to the period where we're ushering in the Aquarian age of all humanity coming together in pure love, we can't take all this crap with us. So it's bringing up a lot of deep-rooted stuff. Kind of like the Me Too movement. And how so many people are like, well, why they wait so long and why now? Well, now it's the awakening, and that's pretty much why it's happening now. It's deep-rooted stuff that people suppressed that's coming up emotionally during these cycles. That Me Too movement started during one of these retrograde intensity cycles. So we're coming out of it. Also, so this is, some of you may have encountered some health issues or issues with the body, mind, spirit, especially the body and the mind. The emotional stuff, but the body. So every disease, every health issue has a specific underlying deep-rooted emotional cause. We can actually heal ourselves when we are able to identify the specific emotional cause of the disease, attack that cause, usually through positive affirmations, therapy, whatever, what have you, and we can heal ourselves. So this whole cycle is about bringing up stuff, and if we're not willing to work through those emotional cycles that come up, the health issue or the disease ends up coming. It depends on the person, and I'm sure the alignment of it. But usually at the coming last 2 weeks of the cycle, which is now, sometimes mid-cycle for some, or when we come out of the cycle, we have that time period to work on those emotional things. And when we come out of it, if we don't, the health issue or disease that's associated with it comes into our lives. I have friends that are doctors, and I tell them all the time that you're going to get really, really busy, really, sporadic, crazy, odd things, because it's bringing up odd emotions, which is bringing up odd diseases or ailments or illnesses or sicknesses. So that's that. It also has a way of bringing out the truth. And you've heard me say it many times. Every time we go through these cycles, the truth is always revealed. It always comes out. You can't suppress the truth anymore, especially if that truth that's being held has anything to do with affecting, again, going into that Aquarian age and coming together of all. It's very interesting cycles to witness. And it's interesting for me because since last year, actually it's been, today's the 11th, almost 13 months that I went to Peru and worked with ayahuasca medicine and Freddie Puma shaman. And in that year, 13 months, I've seen and witnessed so much transformation for myself, but also for others. And I'm going to actually share this, or I'm going to start working on that over the next couple weeks. And I will try to update you all within the next, hopefully by Monday or Tuesday, on where I am and what's going on. But right now, this is all about the energy update, what's going on, what to expect, and why you are feeling the way you've been feeling lately. Today, the energy feels pretty good. It feels actually pretty uplifting. But what was it? Wednesday of last week, if you remember Wednesday, you were probably feeling really sluggish, tired, some people nauseated or dizzy, just like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was the energy. It goes into these shifting cycles. Of course, the energy is always shifting. But when we go through these cycles, especially that direct retrograde cycle, which was pretty much the whole month of July, that's when we go into the, again, intensity period. That's when it gets really heavy. The emotional stuff gets heavy. Communications get heavy. And now we're in August, and actually my friend, Allison Bauman, the amazing numerologist, I think she posted this, I read this, that we're in an 11-month, going by the 3-year that we're in and being in August. So 11s bring on usually, like look at 9/11, look at Hurricane Katrina, came in on an 11-day, which was either the 29th. Hurricane Sandy came in on the 29th. 11s usually bring upon not so nice things. So that's why you see all these things happening with the shootings and all that happening. Again, bringing up emotional stuff. But you have to be aware, and you have to be more plugged into the positive and into the love. Hopefully y'all can hear me with that buzzing and of the locusts and the birds in the background. It's actually quite beautiful sitting out here in the morning. Yeah, you have to be plugged into the love and the gratitude and not allow these big events that are taking place, shootings, to throw you into that place of fear, throw you into that place of worry, concern, because basically there's both light and dark on this planet, as we know, and within ourselves, 50-50. There's light and dark in everything. And, you know, the dark has a good way of controlling everything and controlling us and keeping us in this suppressed state. Now that we're in that time of the awakening and we have these shifts happening, it's a little hard to keep us suppressed. I mean, look at spirituality, for example, like yoga. You know, prior to 2012, we'll go back 2010, 10 years. We'll go back 10 years ago. You heard of yoga. Maybe you had a friend that did it in India or something, but now they're like Starbucks and on every corner. That's the awakening. People are awakening. So when we go through these energy shifts and it's bringing up emotional stuff and all, the darkness preys on that. Preys on that by allowing things like big shootings and big things to happen to try to keep people in fear. But if you watch the balance of the real news, which I've been unplugged, by the way, I've been unplugged from everything, news, what's going on in the world for literally at least 2 months, until just going on social media recently and just tapping into what's going on so that I can match that up with my predictions. Again, the darkness preys on that because we're going through that cycle of opening up and the emotions coming up and so forth. So, you know, try to ruin that and sabotage us. That's why you got to unplug from those things. It's actually kind of interesting to be unplugged from everything that was going on in the world the past 2 months. We're too plugged into the patterns of that, too plugged into all that. So the energy, going back to the energy on the planet, it also, of course, affects everything, Mother Earth as a whole. So that's why you see these big storms and big disasters that come during these shifting periods, especially, again, when we were in the intensity period, which was like somewhere in mid-July. We're coming out of it on the 16th, and as I always say, it always goes out with a bang. So big things happen on a personal level and then on a global level, on a universal level. So be prepared for that. But we go into the next cycle in October, pretty much the whole month of November, which is an 11. We're in it. We're in the direct energy retrograde, and in mid-November, at some point when we have the full moon, we go into that 15-day super intense period. 15 days that we all should just go do some vacation. And that don't end till somewhere around, I think, December 12th or 14th. We'll talk about that more in the near future. So prepare for these shifts by being willing to let go of what you need to physically, energetically, and emotionally, because when you do, it's amazing as to how universe shows you with clarity what it is that needs to go. Actually, y'all may notice this. Have you noticed lately, especially, you know, many of you on the higher level spiritually, or however you want to consciously, whatever, have you noticed how, and this is really happening for everybody across the globe, how you are realizing lately, the past month, the things in your life that no longer bring you joy and happiness, the things that are doing the opposite to you, whether it be your job, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a relationship. And that's where the intense emotion comes on, and the stress and anxiety and panic attacks and so forth during that cycle, because you start to really recognize the things that no longer serve your higher purpose, so that in turn we can clear those things. But those that are resistant of doing so and go back and forth during this energy shift, when we come out of it, it's going to be much more challenging and difficult to clear that out of your life. So that's what these shifts are about. They're about helping us to clear things and making it easier. Not that it's going to be easy. Everything's a challenge. In order to get somewhere and have growth, there's always a challenge. In order to plant crops and have a harvest, it's a challenge to plant those fields and keep it going, Same with your life. So that's all about planting the seeds, allowing them to grow so that we can start to harvest what comes afterwards, which is the rebirth cycle, personally again and universally. So basically the seeds that we plant and the bad seeds that we throw away so that they don't ruin our fields, the weeds that we throw away, the things that we clear, allow us to open up for this great doorway in early September of new things coming into your life for this 6-week period of September all the way up till we go into the last shift of the year. That's when I feel like this year is going to be even more intense, and I will have more predictions and all available for you before we get to that point of October. And again, in a separate video, I'll tell you what's going on with me and where I'm at and where I'm in limbo and why I've been unplugged for so long. It's been interesting and fascinating, and I can't wait to share the stories with you all, especially when it comes time for autobiography. So let me go into, this is another thing. I've been unplugged from everything and only just saw comments recently about the Walmart shooting. And when I do the predictions, especially this year, I did it different because this year, from life coach advice and such, I did it the whole trance and what I received from Spirit live. Usually I do that in ceremony, record it, write it down, and then translate it, and then do it live. This year I didn't, so I don't remember anything that comes through. It just is what it is. What can you do? But someone pointed out Walmart, and I do remember when they said this, that I said to stay away from Walmarts. Walmart is a very negative energy, even if you spell it out in numerology. I should have my friend do that. I heard somebody say that before. It comes out to be just pure darkness. It attracts darkness. Walmarts in most cities that have Walmarts, the police get more phone calls to Walmarts than anything else. But I said to stay away from Walmarts because of shootings. And there was a shooting at Walmart. Someone just asked me the other day, is this what you're seeing? Obviously. And you see more. Of course, sadly. Walmart's going to be a target too of something that needs to shift and change, because Walmart basically is nothing more than an importer and pusher of Chinese goods. And there's all these tariffs and all this stuff's going on with China, which is making it really bad. That's affecting our farms. They've been trying to wipe out the farmlands forever, and they've done a hell of a job at it. I know that I grew up, my grandparents lived in New Jersey, halfway between, say Philly and the shore in Marlton, and it was all farmland. All farmland. There's actually the farm down at the corner of my grandmother's is now a Walmart. Go figure. So they've been working on wiping out the farmlands for a long time, and that's all to control your food and control what you're eating and the GMOs and the genetically modified foods and everything that they put in your food. But again, you see this awakening happening where people are becoming very aware of their food and what they're eating. And you're going to see that because you're going to see sadly, big food scares that come over the next few years. That'll probably even begin later this year, maybe in the next shift. You're going to see big food scares when it comes to things like meat and things, processed foods, things that we really shouldn't be eating. Whereas, again, the darkness will try to throw in a ploy and make something negative happen around something that's good for you. Like all of a sudden the spinach is tainted and you can't eat it. There's a spinach poison scare or whatever, something like that. So remember that. And watch what you're buying. But people are going more organic, and that's why you got to be careful what you buy in organic too, because in the United States, their laws are just ridiculous, and it's not always as organic as you think it is. The best thing that you could possibly do is to, even if you have to drive an hour, is to go to your local area farms, join a farm opt, where there's different farm ops you can join, and you pay a certain amount of money and you get a basket of vegetables, organic vegetables every week. It's great. Especially during the months, growing season. In winter, you find other options. So going back to shootings, yeah, of course we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more with school shootings, especially when we get back into the school year and we get back into November. You're going to see that. You're going to see at least 3 major scale type shootings related to both schools, shopping mall, not sure of the third one. one being out of country. So you'll also see that pattern starting to happen where all the other countries said that only happens in the United States. Well, it's not just happening in the United States anymore. It's starting to happen elsewhere with school shootings, for example. So you're going to see that start to progress with that happening outside, especially in Europe, in areas like England, Britain, areas like that. So you're going to see that. Other thing is, if you all remember, was it last year? I think it was last year. Or like I'm standing there watching it happen, and they took me into these underground pedophilia rings and child trafficking rings. It was absolutely disgracing. You can go back and listen to that, I think, in my 2017 predictions, 2018 predictions, somewhere in there. And how they harvest organs and how they do all these awful, awful things. There goes the dogs. There goes the dogs. In a minute, I'm gonna have to walk away for a minute. Excuse me 1 second. So that's the problem when you're outside, dogs. Anyway, so I had this disturbing information about child pedophilia rings and things related to that. Come here, baby. Stay right here. Stay right here. Yeah, so anyway, going into the subject of Jeffrey, what's his name? Who just supposedly committed suicide, which is total baloney, if you ask me. He is a part of something huge. He's a part of that underground pedophilia, sex trafficking, organ harvesting that's so big that it would make everybody vomit. Like, it is so big, it is so controlled and so well done. And literally with underground, like built underground places where they house these. So like a majority of the missing people in this planet, especially kids, sadly that's where they end up. And it was very disturbing to hear that. Go away, dog. Not playing with you right now. It's not playtime. And so I told you that they were going to start busting them. I said that back in 2017 predictions. That's when I had that vision of the underground pedophilia rings and how it was going to become a huge thing and they were going to slowly start taking them down. Well, that's why when it comes to his suicide, it wasn't a suicide. He's a part of the big ring. He's up there. He knows and can say the things to take out the whole entire thing. So of course they're going to take him out as quickly as possible, as easy as possible, and when it comes to the prison systems and the security systems and the police systems, it's all interweaved where the darkness resides and controls it. Yeah, there's good in all those, it's good people that work as prison guards or whatever, but there's a lot of darkness that controls it all. And they can get in there and do whatever they want. These people have a lot of power. So yeah, his suicide was not a suicide, but it's still, you're going to see things start to trickle down with this whole thing. Them doing that and taking him out actually is going to actually make it worse for this underground organization, because it's going to put more light on it. It's going to put more light on that people already know. There ain't no way he committed suicide. It just didn't happen. He was on suicide watch and all of a sudden he's not, and then all of a sudden he's dead. Come on now, be for real. So moving on to weather stuff. So weather, you're going to see intensity with weather and things like that over the next few years. Dogs. I probably have a few minutes before these dogs wipe me out and start barking. So you're going to see extreme weather patterns coming up. And what was I going to say? Oh, so ice melt. I'm working on a video. If you go back to my predictions from this year, I talked about the sevens and the power of the sevens in 2025. I'm pretty much convinced that 2025 is when we go into that 7 years of tribulation related to the prophecies of, say, the book of Revelation, going to the indigenous tribe revelations and prophecies. I feel like it's all adding up and coming together. And I know that I am the first one to put that date out. That year, 2025 to 2032, very extremely powerful time on the planet. And I know that the earth shift is happening. It's actually happening. The earth is shifting as we speak. The temperatures are rising, and you're going to see a major... Can I get her from here? Get my square bottle? No. Major melting of ice caps. I literally have to chase my dog around with a spray bottle. So we're going to see major melting of ice caps. So we're in a 3-year, and we go through this cycle of 1 through 9 in numerology. And I was told in 2016, that 2017 was the awakening of Mother Earth and the unleashing of the goddess feminine energy on the planet. Right after that, the Me Too movement started. You see women rising up. You see, look at Marianne Williamson, who's running for president. You see women stepping forward, especially women that have a spiritual background, that are connected. It's a shame that she won't get anywhere in that election because it's all fixed. Speaking of elections, going back to that 7 prophecy and everything I said about the 7s, and also about Donald Trump, like he's going to get it again. I hate to say it, but it would be an absolute miracle. And the light really intervening if he didn't. But I believe without a doubt he's a part of all the prophecies and the 7 prophecies and so forth, which I will do a video on the 7s. Now that I'm plugged back in and ready to catch back up, I have a lot to bring you guys. But yeah, so that's with the election. We'll talk more about elections in another time. But going back to the weather shift. So we're seeing the melting of the ice and the ice caps, and you're going to start to see discoveries that are coming out and truth coming out about the Arctic. A lot of truth coming out. It's going to be almost like literally a war, so to speak, when it comes to the Arctic. I don't even know exactly what that means, but I'll get more information to plug in about that. But I just wanted to update you on these energy shifts, what's going on in the world, and what's yet to come. So by the time we get to October and we get into that next shift at the last quarter of the year, October, November, December, I will actually do ceremony revolved around this and get a list of more information of how the year is going to pan out for all of us. On a universal level, and then on a personal level when we get into that last shift of the year. Because I don't know about y'all, but if you remember last year in December, November, December, we were in that last shift last year. It's usually pretty close to the same time period. I think it's off by like 2 weeks, whereas like the full moon every year is like off by 2 days or something like that. So if you remember December last year, it was intense. I mean, I know it was intense for myself. All these shifts are intense, especially when we get into the intensity or we're coming out of it. And I know December, the first 3 weeks of December was, wow, I don't even know where to start with that. That was so intense. I don't even know how I was able to get those predictions out to y'all on New Year's Day. Well, yeah, because I did it live. Anyway, I must leave you with that because I must go get ready and get to my clients for today and get the rest of the day started. I will update you all on my personal stuff coming up in the next week. And also, I want to share my ayahuasca journey with you all. So I'm going to be working on that. That's going to be one of the next priorities, that and my 7 video. I just wanted to update you all. Thank you all so much for your following me. And if you are new to this, make sure you check out my channel. Make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you visit my website at josephtittel.com. I wish you all an amazing, beautiful